Hi everyone, this is going to be your July of 2025 Psychic Tarot reading with Animal Totem and lots of love and the Holy Hamza cards and all kinds of exciting stuff to talk about, including Uranus going into Gemini, and we're going to have a Saturn-Mercury retrograde. Lots and lots of stuff to talk about for all signs this month. Before we get into it, you're watching the Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube, and you can find me at vickieverlie.com for personal readings or whatever you might be interested in. By the way, people were commenting, I had a couple comments about where's my Tapestry of Life mandalas, and I'm still making them. You have to go to my website and go into the Art tab, and there's this various personalized art. This one is also Sun, Rising, Moon. I have these cool astroglyphs that I make out of your sign, your big three, more or less, and these are the mandalas, and they are still available. This is a custom-made piece of art derived from the lines in your chart, and it also is a past life reading. Well, it's a psychic reading. After I make it, or while I'm making it, I write down all my, I get a lot of intuitive downloads and stuff, and then I write those down, so you get like a page, you know, of my insights, and also the art, the digital art, which you can blow up and do as big as you want. So it's under the Art tab, and if you do want a personal reading, of course, they will be under here, the Readings tab. I have various readings too. Now the solstice reading, I guess if you're watching this the very first week, I'll probably leave it up till 4th of July weekend to get the solstice reading, but that will be gone. But I have 1 and 2 question readings. I have the soulmate past life reading, the regular past life reading, the soulmate past life reading, and this is one I wanted to show too, and I was thinking about the art. I have these candle readings, and people do order these, and it's pretty cool. It's made with, I meditate on your name, and I make this candle, burns the whole, not holes, it burns, the smoke burns into the paper, and then I do a reading for there. This is more of a tool for you to use at a later date. It's also very affordable, and then I have a bunch of astrology reports that are very affordable. So lots of different kinds of readings available on my chart if you want to, you know, look into that for your personal reading. But let's get into the overall reading for everybody, because there's so much going on in July. It's such a big month. We're in these chunks of months here. We've had one right after the other with these big planets shifting for Saturn and Neptune, and then last month it was Jupiter, and this month it's Uranus. And I have included, I did do a whole other video just on the Uranus moving into Gemini. I had another, of course, I always get another thought about it after the video is done. I had a couple little other thoughts I wanted to mention. One was kind of a funny one. It's, you know, Uranus, well, if you see the images of it, because I was looking at the image, let me turn off this light. I was looking at the image of it, and because it's been all over, they've been showing it on just regular science sites and stuff, and it's sideways. And what came to mind is back when my parents had the bar, of course, there was a guy that came in, and I always got along with him, but he was kind of just, you know, he walked to the beat of his own drummer for sure. He was kind of out there, and he would just say these wild, random things, not in a crazy, like these homeless people, crazy way, random, crazy thing. Just kind of, actually a lot of them were really witty and kind of interesting, but for some reason my mom and her little crew there, her little crew of older ladies, did not like him. And one of the ladies in her group named him Sideways Eddie. Because he was just a little bit off, meaning, you know, sideways meaning just somebody really different. And I thought about it, I go, yeah, Uranus rotates side, it's totally like a Sideways Eddie thing, right? Because it's sideways Uranus, you know? So Uranus being tilted sideways, it's just how everything's just a little bit off and a little bit weird and a little bit different. And maybe even a little bit kind of, you know, out in the celestial. But that was just one thing that I thought of. I wanted to jump in with that. But I did the whole Uranus thing. If you haven't checked it out for each sign, you can take a look at that. So that's on July 7th. That's the big first thing that's sort of kicking off the month on the very first week. Then on the 10th, we're going to have a full moon in Capricorn. Of course, there's always one full moon in each sign during the year, so this is the full moon in Capricorn. And then 3 days later, on the 13th, Saturn, Capricorn's ruling planet, turns retrograde at almost 2 degrees of Aries, 159. And then on the 18th, we get a Mercury retrograde. Now, I'm wondering about how the Mercury retrogrades are going to be now that Uranus is in Gemini, because Gemini is the sign of Mercury, so there's this, this larger expression of Gemini energy perhaps, and so it might be kind of interesting. They might be more impactful, less impactful, maybe more weird and crazy things happening than just, the normal, your car, your appliances and cars and stuff like that. We'll have to see. This will be the first one after the Uranus goes into Gemini, the first Mercury retrograde. Next on the 22nd, that's when the sun is going to move from the sign of Cancer into the Leo, and then 2 days later we got the new moon in Leo at 2 degrees 08 of Leo. And I do want to wish all the happy birthday to all the Cancer and Leos that are watching the video. This is your solar return. This is your time of year where it's your personal new year. It's your personal reset time. So it's very important to set your intentions. And then if you do enjoy this type of reading, I do have something similar but on a much smaller scale weekly over on Patreon, where I do a weekly astrology overview. Something just flipped the wrong way here. And I wasn't even, did it? Or did it not? It seemed like it did. Maybe it flipped out and flipped back in. Yeah, it did. It was, Nine of Swords. Well, that wasn't for anybody particular. I was just warming up the decks. So anyways, over there on Patreon, I do the weekly thing, okay? So let's go, we're going to get started and tune in with our sign by sign. And first we're going to start with the sign of Aries. Yeah, Aries, that whole thing here with the Saturn going retrograde, that's in your sign. So it's going to be interesting. It's the first time in almost like 30 years since the late 90s that we've had, you've had Saturn in your sign and turning retrograde too. So it's going to actually go retrograde and go out of your sign, I think. I have to actually look that up. I forgot to get... Here we go. Every 10 never fails, Aries, right? I've always got to make some minor adjustment. Yeah, it's going to retrograde out in September. It's going to move out of your sign again and then be back in early next year. So it'll be interesting to know. It's almost like this has been a test run for you. A test run of what Saturn in your sign is going to be like for the next few years after, starting next year. So, it's different from your energy because you can be rather impulsive, you're exciting, you like to get things going, you like a lot of excitement and movement, and Saturn is a slow build, Saturn's a slow roll or something they're saying. So different than your typical energy, but it can really, if you work with the Saturn energy, it can really help you to build something long-term for the future. We got one just flipping the wrong way again. The Nine of Rods, or Swords. So we're going to start. This is the Hanson Roberts deck. We're going to do Aquarian Tarot, the tarot decks. Okay, so we've got 8 of Swords, 8 of Pentacles, double 8s, oh, and Tower. Okay. Next, we're going to do 3 cards, and we're going to pull out of the, not Hanson Roberts. That's the Hanson Roberts. This is the Aquarian Tarot. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry if you can hear that fan on in the background, but it is so freaking hot. I mean, I do have air conditioning on, but it's just I need to have, if you want to get a good reading, we're going to have a fan on for this. It's just too much. And I'm of the age where I get hot flashes on top of the whole, it's a heat wave thing here. The heat index is well over 100. Temperatures are in the 90s, and it's just miserable. I mean, it's fairly cool and comfortable, but I want to be sure that I can really give you the best reading possible. And I turned that fan off, and it was just so stagnant. I've just got to have that little bit of breeze blowing. Okay, so back to Aries. 3 cards for Aries for the month of July of 2025. What do we have for our Aries friends? 6 of Rods, Triumph and Victory. Next we have the 2 of Pentacles, Pentacles lining up here. And then thirdly, we have the 4 of Pentacles. So Pentacle things are moving forward. Money is moving forward. I feel like for some of you, because look at the way, I have to find my pointer. So it's always something, Aries, right? So of course we do have the Tower here. And Tower is big change. And Gemini, Uranus and Gemini can be a Tower thing. But it's a big shakeup and it's a big change. Some of you it's going to be in your financial sector. It could be. But what I'm looking at, this is, I almost feel like this is okay, this would be you in the present moment, and you're working on and polishing this project, or maybe your resume, or you're doing some job that you really love. Yes, you have stress about it. There's stress over here, and then I feel like almost this is in the past. Like this is something that happened in the past. And you'd want to be careful not to get in your head about it, not to get so stressed out that, oh, this is going to happen again. You know, you might be thinking, oh, this is going to happen again. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You know, that kind of an energy. And that's going to be really, that's not the way to be. Let's get out of that. Let's look at the positive thing. Let's make the best product, do the best job you possibly can. Do whatever you're creating here. Put your time, energy, and love into it. He's not looking over there, nor is he looking there. He's looking at what he's building here. And you will be seeing some progress here with the Six of Rods. You don't have to worry about a repeat performance, my guides are saying. It's not going to be a repeat performance of some past perils. there's a tongue twister, past perils from the past. Dun dun dun. No, that's not what's going to happen. I also like the way this pulls me up here and this pulls me down here, as if they're connected, right? So by working hard, doing what you want, you are going to have this victory, this success, this achievement that you're after. It's going to be a slow build because you're only at the beginning. There's some things, some of you might be working like 2 jobs for a while. Maybe for now, this is just your side hustle. Or for now, this is maybe some of you are even going to school, or just maybe not even going to school, but maybe you're just learning. You know, you're in a learning mode, watching things online, this sort of thing. But what is 2 turns into 4. It'll start to multiply and multiply and multiply. 6, I almost want to say within 6 months. You know, you're going to see some big, maybe towards the end of this year, you could really see some big progress. But the key is to not talk yourself out of it, not get in stressed out mode, not get, you know, focus on doing what you love. And, you know, this is coming for you. This is a potential future that you can manifest or you can connect with on quantum fields, through the quantum atmospheric field, or if you want to say, and you know, you can connect with that, and you can really make something, you know, substantial and long-lasting. You know. Okay, let's go ahead and get your animal totem for our Aries friends. This is for the month of July for Aries Sun, Rising, Moon. What do we have here? The pig. Pig is excellent. Pig is abundance, fertility, having plentifulness, tenacious, steadfast, bold, independent, bringer of luck, prosperity, and wealth. Feast and celebrate in gratitude. Prolific creation, a time of great fertility. Yeah, prolific creation. That's what you should be working on right now. Creating, prolific creating. Don't worry, you know, yeah, the outside world there's some crazy things going on, you know, but let's just stay in our own zone and make our own life better right now, and because you're building something. Okay, Aries, let's get your Holy Hamza card for your July reading. Well, this one wanted to come out. Space, the final frontier. Ooh, ooh, ooh. If you wanted to pause the video and try to get a word out of the background, that it could have, you know, could have significance. So if you want to, take a look at it. But space is card 46. Okay, so I'm going to read out of the booklet, which is, I wrote the booklet as well, so I'm not just reading off somebody else's words, these are my own words. The space card is inviting you to look beyond the mundane existence of the Earth plane. We are but one of the billions of galaxies in the known universe, a mind-boggling fact indeed. There is so much more than we mere mortals can even comprehend. The night sky brings a sense of peace and wonderment as we bask in its vastness. You may have an affinity with or sense the presence of higher expressions of consciousness, perhaps otherworldly. On a more down-to-earth level, the space card may indicate an interest in astronomy, astrology, or even astrophysics. This card can also be a message of breaking free from limiting situations that have been holding you back and blasting off into new possibilities that have never been explored. Well, that's you all day, Aries. You are the explorers. You know, you are blasting off. That's all. You're all about that, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get let's pull some lots for Aries, for Sun, Moon, Rising, Aries, or anybody with placements. We'll start with the lots of love, which may or may not pertain to love. It says encounter. You know, right away I thought of, though, with this, I thought of encounters of the third kind, close encounters of the third kind. I mean, Uranus, this kind of stuff could be really happening. But encounter, you know, could be, an encounter of any sort. Maybe with this work theme here, we've got so many pentacles. You know, maybe it's an encounter with somebody who can help your career in some way. You know, there's a lot of different ways it could go. Or a love encounter, for sure. Okay, let's get another, plausible. It says it's plausible. Well, it's more than plausible. Whatever you're working on and whatever you're passionate about, following that passion and those urges. You've got the abundance card over here and the major success card here. And this could be like your career is skyrocketing too. That's another thing that I would definitely assign with the space card. Last but not least, your lots of Proverbs. It says, oh, what a tangled web we weave. Yeah, well, that's talking about lying and deceiving. But, you know, it could be you, so you don't want to get off on the wrong foot that way. But it might be that's what's, maybe some big lie came out even. You know, Uranus is, you know, letting it rip. Things could be discovered in that way, too. You know, maybe some kind of a big lie came out. But if that's the case, I wouldn't worry about it. Focus on what's bringing you joy, happiness, fulfillment. And, you know, Saturn wants to set you up with some very long-term situations at this time, Aries. So this is a once every 30 year or so aspect or transit. So this is a time to really be laying down those foundations and building for your future. And it looks like you really have some good cards here to go along with it. Okay, Aries, well, I hope you have a great month of July. Again, check out my website if you want to get a hold of me for any reason. I have so many different offerings. And if your support is greatly appreciated, even if you can just drop a comment or like and subscribe, those types of things also are very much appreciated. Am I doing this right? Yeah, I wanted to move. This is my broke in. I have a lot of these decks, the Hanson Roberts. I have, well, probably at least 5. That's my personal deck, and it just has a different feel to it. So I realized that, and I want to get the reader. This is the one I use for the client deck. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the sign of Taurus. Well, hello Taurus. I hope you're having a great summer in the Northern Hemisphere. It's been a hot one here. I apologize again if you can hear that fan in the background, but I just have to have it on. It is just too muggly. It's totally muggly. And I know many of you Tauruses are gardeners too, and we've got these dang lantern flies, these spotted lantern flies. And I've been after them with the soapy water. They're after several of my plants that they like. They only like certain plants is what I'm discovering. Like certain plants they don't touch at all, and other plants they just are after. So it's been one of those kind of days, and it's one of those kind of weeks here. Okay, this is going to be the reading for Taurus Sun, Taurus Rising, or Taurus Moon. We're going to pull 3 cards from each deck, the Hanson Roberts, and then we're going to pull 3 cards from the Aquarian Tarot. So let's get started with it. First 3 cards for our Taurus friends. You got the Devil. That can be a situation of feeling in bondage. 10 of Cups, marriage. And then thirdly, the Star. Beautiful energy with the Star always. I love this. This is one of my favorite Star cards ever too. Well, this actually, the Star card in this deck is really cool too. Okay, let's go ahead and pull 3 more cards from the Aquarian Tarot for the month of July for our Taurus friends. Well, one of the biggest things that's happening here is Uranus is moving out of your sign. So I feel like, oh, Devil twice. Look at that, double Devil. Double Devil. When I say that, I almost wanted to say double indemnity. So that's maybe something for somebody out there. You know, that's some legalese that I'm not really... I think that means you can't be tried for the same crime twice. Is that what that means? I'm not sure, but... well, you know, Devil can be actual, you know, jail time and stuff like that, too. So... I mean, maybe it's something like that for somebody out there, but I think for the majority, it's going to be a different kind of a thing. Okay, so the Devil energy is, you know, you're feeling in bondage, you're carrying this heavy weight. I really get the feeling that this is that Uranus in your sign, although Uranus couldn't be further from being a heavy weight, it's very light energy, but it's too light for Taurus. I know many Tauruses were knocked off their base during this time. It was very disconcerting to have that Uranian energy hitting through all your planets. Because not only if you have Sun in Taurus, you probably have a couple other personal planets. Good chance that you might have Mercury or Venus or Mars, you know, in Taurus too. You know, moon, anybody could have a Taurus moon. So, you know, there's going to be different ways it's affected different people. But I found that... yeah, Tauruses have not had a great time of it, you know, and that finally is coming to an end. I mean, it is, albeit temporary. There will be another, it'll go back in for a minute here for a few months in September. It'll dip back in, oh, that's Saturn, excuse me. But yeah, Uranus is also going to dip back in. I don't have that, oh, here it goes, in November. it'll go back into your sign for a minute, and I think April it comes back out again next year. I did a whole video on the Uranus and Gemini, so do check that out if you want to hear, because it's a big event. 80-year cycle. It's once every 80 years. But it's happening on the 7th here. So finally, I feel like you'll be lifted from the chains of bondage of that trying to work with that Uranus energy, which is such a vinegar and oil, like you almost could feel like it's working against you. It's against your natural flow. But whatever the case, there definitely is a big turnover here. I mean, you go from Devil to Ten of Cups. I mean, Ten of Cups, one of the best cards in the deck, definitely means great joy and happiness. It means it's a marriage card. You know, it could be getting married. I mean, some of you, this could have been a divorce. Maybe you were in a long-term relationship and you felt in chains, and now you feel free, or now you're free to go marry somebody else. If in some cases, if that was, you fell in love with somebody else. In some cases, with Star being here, it could be, again, this has come up in the readings before, that maybe somebody was in bondage to a body that was failing, and they just wanted to go into spirit, and they finally have, and they're reunited with their husband, wife, or family members, and they're happy again. No matter what, even if this isn't somebody leaving the earth plane and going into spirit, your spirit guides and angels are a party to this. Your spirit guides and angels are facilitating this whole big thing here with this Ten of Cups for you. I almost said falling in love, so some of you could absolutely be falling in love. Down here, we're looking at some more financial things. We have the Six of Pentacles, so that is getting paid, getting financial wealth increase. Sometimes it could be like help from the government or like that kind of a thing, but I often will use the Six of Pentacles more as like a raise, a promotion, you know, something like that. My guides just said you're killing it at work. So you're really killing it at work. There could be a big opportunity. Eight of Rods, you could get the news that there's some big opportunity for this job or something. Or maybe it is, again, some kind of a, you know, financial thing in some way. Because after all, Uranus going in your second house, is particularly if you're Taurus rising, that's going to talk about your financial house, you know. So things could be a little haywire there, but again, watch the other video. I think you'll be much happier with it out of your first house or out of your sign. But this is, things start moving really quickly, and it does have to do with some kind of a money thing. For some of you, maybe you've been in a long-distance relationship. Oh, sorry about the dog barking. Maybe you've been in some kind of a long-distance relationship, and one or the other of you were trying to get a job so you could, you know, move to be with your partner, and you get the news, hey, I got the job. This 8 is really standing out to me. I might have to stop the video if he doesn't stop barking. Okay, Taurus, sorry about that interruption, but yeah, so things are moving quickly. You know, the number 8 is standing at 6 and 8, and what's in the middle is 7. So it could be, this is really feeling very much like something around that time frame, and that Uranus switches over, that you could really get that good news, or all of a sudden things are moving and you're not so bogged down anymore. All right, let's go ahead and get our animal totem for our Taurus friends, Taurus Sun, Rising, Moon. And this, of course, is for the month of July of 2025. We've got the goat. Now, the goat could be that you're dealing with the Capricorn also, because, you know, the devil is representative of Capricorn too. And Taurus and Capricorn are great, you know, it's a great combo. You know, I've definitely had great relationships with Tauruses my whole life. I'm a Capricorn sun, that's why I bring it up. But yeah, Capricorn energy is certainly coming into play. It could also be some kind of timing involving Capricorn energy. So for instance, maybe it's the timing of, you know, back in Capricorn time, which would have been late December, January. Maybe that's how long you felt so bogged down, or whatever the case might be. But this goat thing is also striving, climbing to the top of the mountain. And of course, in modern day, GOAT is that acronym for the greatest of all time, right? Independent, ambitious, rugged, curious, unfaltering perseverance and determination, climbing to new heights, top of the heap, overcoming obstacles, success after hard work. Yeah, that's what this really looks like the most for me, for you. For me, for you, and you for me. Let's get your Holy Hamza. Holy Hamza! Alright, Holy Hamza card for our Taurus Sun, Rising, Moon. This is my own deck, and the card is Peace. So let's go here and turn it sideways so you can, if you want to pause the video and look at some of the background words, Sometimes you can really get a message from those background words if they stand out to you. Now, this is interesting. Right off the bat, I'm going to look it up. It's card number 42. I'm going to read from the booklet that I wrote that go along with this. But what comes to me out right off the top of my head is, there's this period of struggle, and what's it? Because I always look at this card, Eight of Rods. What is it pointing at? And then now you have peace. Now there's this disruptive thing, perhaps, or this change, and you go from feeling devil energy and bondage to having peace. Peace be with you and also with you. Peace is an internal. This is all channeled, by the way. Most of the definition of peace was stuff that came through channeled. It's one of my books, but I pulled it out for this definition because I felt like it was really so on point here. Peace is the internal state of being, not an outward expression. It is important, this is inward too, right, the star. It is important for you to connect with inner peace at this time. For peace to exist externally, it must first exist internally. Finding moments of peace throughout the day is paramount to seeing improvements in your life and the world at large, or being freed from this bondage, right? Another term for light worker could be keeper of the peace. Holding space for peace is the highest calling at this time. Be of peace, be in peace, facilitate peace. It is a universal message that has been broadcasting for some time now. More than a hip slogan from a bygone era, but a universal message for the masses. Finding peace is paramount to finding happiness. Well, peace and happiness go hand in hand, don't they? Definitely for me, I would say that's the case. When you're not stressing, you're at peace. Ride on the peace train. All right, let's go ahead and get first our lots of love, which may or may not pertain to love. We've got attraction. Well, yeah, there's a major attraction going on here. Some of you are really, Spirit is leading you to this big love connection for many people. Okay, next let's get the lots of answers. It says unlikely. So take that as it resonates. It's going to mean something different to different people. And then finally, well, the last is the lots of proverb. The lots of proverb for Taurus. We have a stitch in time saves 9. Well, that just means do it right the first time. Tauruses, you guys are pretty good about that kind of a thing. I almost want to say that there's been this period of time where, it almost feels like a retrograde, even though it's not. But it almost feels like a retrograde where you've had time to go over it because it hasn't been moving to the next. And whatever was stalled, it was on Spirit's time, not on your time. So that you could catch these different things and go over it once, twice, make sure that it's really going to be the best, thing that you want to put out there, and the best possible, the best possible product, service, resume, report, whatever you've been working on here, and it's gonna, you aced it. The guide said you aced it. Okay. All right, well, hey, Taurus, thanks so much for tuning in again. Check out my website if you want to get a hold of me for any reason, including like a reading, or people were asking about my art in the comment, and it's still up there. It's just in another tab on my website. I know many Tauruses are into art. And, even art, I have some spiritual art classes, which you can also find the information on there. The courses, it's under the courses tab if that interests you. Otherwise, let's have a great month, Taurus, and next, we're going to move on to the sign of Gemini. Well, hey, Gemini, guess what? Guess where that big Uranus is going? Of course, I did do that other whole video, gives the dates and everything. But it was, in the 1940s was the last time we saw this aspect. So many people, I want to say most people don't remember it. Even if you were alive during that time, it's kind of like you were probably just a little child, and so this is a very new energy for most people. Definitely, exciting, elevating. What came out, and one of the things I remember from the Gemini reading in the other one, the Uranus reading that I did for everybody, was that you need to ground, because it's going to be so much. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, which is your ruling planet. Speaking of Mercury, Mercury is going to be going retrograde there on the 18th. And Mercury being your ruling planet, of course, you do feel that. Now, I just wanted to see Oh, it looks like Mercury will be in Leo. I'm going to make a note of that. Mercury's going retrograde in the sign of Leo. Okay, then Saturn's going retrograde in the sign of Aries. Well, let's dive into the cards here. Let's dive into this Gemini and see not only how Uranus is going to affect you, but just your July outlook overall, and see what it's going to look like for Gemini Sun, Rising Moon, anybody with prominent placements in Gemini, July 25. We've got Page of Pentacles, Six of Rods. That card's been out. Six of Rods and Star. Star again. Wow. So you also are reaping the blessings. You know, Star is those higher dimensional beings, whether angelic or whatever the case may be. And that is definitely a factor in this whole Uranian thing. It absolutely can put you in contact with these higher dimensional forces, whether it's the same thing, whether angelic or whatever the case might be. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to get three cards for our Gemini. 1, 2, 3. We've got Ten of Pentacles, nice. Six of Pentacles, that was in the same spot in the last reading, I do believe. I do believe it's true. And then the King of Cups. All right, well, you have a beautiful spread here, Gemini, so things are really looking up and really positive. I like how this Page of Pentacles leads right down into the Ten of Pentacles. So news coming about money. This often will have some kind of an earth sign connection, and the earth sign connection is early in the month. We're going to have on the 10th the Capricorn full moon, which is an earth sign. So this news coming about the money could be coming here right around that Capricorn full moon, and here's the news, and then here it turns into something really big. Somebody out there, some of you might be selling a house, buying a house. There could be some kind of a big money transfer of some sort going on here, but there's definitely an increase of some sort with your finances. The other thing that I like here is interesting is that you have the Six of Rods and the Six of Pentacles. 6 and 6. They're both very similar cards. They both are about achievement and getting, increase, okay? The Six of Pentacles is an increase in your money and your finances, but the Six of Rods, this is an increase. This is the self-esteem and the sense of accomplishment that goes along with it. It's not necessarily the money, but they're both good and they both go hand in hand. Finally, you're definitely being guided by higher forces with the star energy here. The star is guiding in, setting up these liaisons, my guides are saying, these connections, these liaisons, these opportunities for you. And the King of Cups is right down here connected with the star too. So the King of Cups is going to be a person that could definitely be helpful in different ways. Now, often I think of the King of Cups as a romantic partner, so it could totally be a romantic partner for some people, because the cups, after all, is like the hearts in the traditional tarot. So it could be the King of Cups is bringing this love, romance, emotional kind of energy in, but it also can be just the person, the King of Cups, the water sign person, the Scorpio, the Cancer, or the Pisces, who maybe is part of this whole financial thing that's going on here for you. Now the King of Cups also, this could be the time frame of the water sign of Cancer. So we're going to be in the water sign of Cancer up until the 22nd of July, when the sun moves into Leo at that time. So it could be during the first few weeks of the month when we see this big change, and this person is definitely a part of it. But boy, does that look wonderful for Gemini. Well, I'm not surprised with Uranus being in your sign. You jive with that, I'm hearing that jump and jive in, jump and jive in. Okay, let's go ahead and get your animal totem for Geminis for the month. I just looked up and it was 11/11. Butterfly. So butterfly, if you can embrace this, and you should be able to, this is right up your alley. This isn't anything all too, crazy woo-woo out there for Geminis. This is, you already are fluttering in the breeze and fluttering in the air, but butterfly is coming into this, spreading your wings into this full realization. No longer of the earth you take flight to soar with the angels. Well, there's an angel right there. Release burdens and embrace the metamorphosis. Dance in joyous recognition of the ever-evolving now. Yeah. So you're spreading your wings. You're not the caterpillar anymore. You're opening up to the higher thing, because after all, Mercury is your ruler, and Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So it's sort of like the higher octave of you. So it's taking you up that one step higher. Can you take me higher? All right, let's get the, not the animal totem, but the Holy Hamza. Holy Hamza. All right, Holy Hamza for Gemini, Sun, Rising, Moon. Anybody with prominent Gemini messaging. Well, this is your card, more or less. You know, this is sort of like the Eight of Rods in the tarot, if some of you are more familiar with tarot. If you want to pause the tape and take a look at the background words, you may be able to get a personal message out of it. So it's card 41. I actually, it's already open to it. Look at that. News is coming quickly. Auspicious plans unfolding. Okay, the message card encompasses all modes of communication, both past, present, and future. Texting, direct messaging, FaceTime, Zoom, phone calls, and the like. We live in such a fast-paced world with no signs of slowing down. Yeah, especially with Uranus going into your sign. That's going to speed things up even more. The card may, oops, flew off. This card may indicate the time is right to reach out to an important contact to get the favorable response that you're hoping for. Keep a watchful eye on your inbox for an important message that may be coming your way. Communications of all kinds are favored when this card makes an appearance. Yeah, so that's right up your alley. That's just confirming that we're just going to be amping it up to the nth degree with the whole, communication, and communicating with higher realms on whatever level. You know, the star card could be angelic, could be spirits passed on. This could be somebody, your grandpa or somebody. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get your lots of love, which may or may not pertain to love. Combative. It's interesting because this reading doesn't look combative to me in any way, but maybe you had to fight hard to get where you are. Maybe that is the whole combative thing there. Let's get one more card. We have perhaps, so that's kind of like a, maybe baby. And then last but not least, the lots of proverb. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Yeah, maybe for some of you, somebody's coming in with an offer of money and you're kind of like hemming and hawing over it. But with all this quickening, with this Uranus energy and everything happening, it may be a case of like here today, gone tomorrow. So you may want to, well, of course, if there's any big purchases being made, like a home, you definitely want to consult the right people, the experts, whether it's a realtor, real estate lawyer, or whoever it might be. But don't, this isn't a time to rest on your laurels, or, this is a time, if you thought you were fast and quick before, look out, Gemini, because it's going to be amped up to 11. That's what the guys are saying. All right. Okay, well, if you want to get a hold of me for any reason, whether it's a chart, a reading, the artwork, whatever the case may be, find out about my Patreon. It's all on my website, so it's one easy place. A lot of the stuff is listed below in the description of the video too, but always heading to the website is the best way to make sure that you're actually talking to me and not some imposters, okay? Quick sip of water before next we move on to the sign of Cancer. Well, Cancer, we're just settling into Jupiter moving into your sign last month, and here comes Uranus. It's going to affect everybody. It's not going to be the same. If you're Cancer rising, it's in your 12th house. And again, I did do an entire video. Not only did I do an entire video on the Uranus going into Cancer, into Gemini, I also did do a video on Jupiter going into your sign and going through the signs too. And I did one on the Saturn too. So they're all there. You can check my YouTube channel here, Rock and Roll Prophetess, if you want to find out more about that stuff. I'm shuffling the wrong deck. Okay, so this is going to be for a Cancer sun sign, rising sign, and moon. And I want to wish all the July Cancers out there happy birthday. This is your solar return. This is a really important time to set your intentions for your upcoming solar year. This is your personal new year. I also offer those astrology readings that are the astrology reports, which are very thorough and very affordable. Again, you can find that on my website. So let's get 3 cards for Cancer. 1, 2, 3. 7 of Cups, visualizing your future. Justice, legal or otherwise, and the Temperance card, working with your guides and angels to put together, put things in balance, but create situations to for you to be engaged with. Okay, 3 more cards for our Cancer, Sun, Rising, and Moon from the next deck. And we have the 2 of Pentacles, followed by 7 of Cups twice, double 7 of Cups. Okay, and then third we have the 9 of Rods. Okay, you can manifest your ass off. I'm just going to put it that bluntly, okay, Cancer? You are a manifesting MFer. You can manifest your butts off at this time. And don't think you can't, because not only, you may want to look at that Cancer New Moon video, because that Cancer New Moon, I'm actually recording this like the day after, and it's still active. And that's amazing. The Jupiter's involved in it. Jupiter in your sign and your birthday and your solar return, you can manifest further and more than you ever have in your entire life. So don't be looking at past failures or saying, oh, I don't have the money, or whatever you're doing over here with this 9 of Rods, being Debbie Downer, or being, because you guys can get moody and you guys can get a little, you know, down in the dumps and moody and different things. So it's saying, don't look at what it was, and don't look at what is even necessarily. The only thing you need to be communing with is your guides and angels, because they are working for you. They're working on your behalf. Your prayers and visualizations and the things that you're trying to create with this double 7 of Cups, they hear you, and they're up there trying to put it together. Well, they probably aren't going to give you every single thing you want necessarily, but they're working with you, but you've got to speak it out. Well, maybe not speak it out, but you've got to, you know, put the energy towards it. You've got to visualize it, you know, write it down perhaps. Justice is here. Some of you, there could be some actual legal things going on with justice, signing papers, different things. Justice is also legal matters, but it's also karmatic justice. And I do feel like that's the case here with some of this stuff. It's like this karmic cycle has come to a state of completion, and now with Jupiter in your sign, it's your turn. It's your turn, Cancer. It's your turn to get the blessings. It's your turn to have the fun stuff happen. You've got this 1 year. You know, you get it once every 12 years. So here it is. This is your turn. Soak it up. Work with it. Do the best you can. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Don't doubt your own manifestations. Works directly. And don't be telling your buddy, you know, your broke-ass buddy over here. He doesn't even look like he's just so, I don't know. Something about him reminds me of some, you know, my guides are using the term hobo, which is probably totally politically incorrect and not even of this era. But yeah, you know, don't be talking to your broke-ass buddies about your plans, because they can't see your vision. Talk directly to your guides and angels about it, you know. Manifest it that way. Go to the highest source available, okay? And your own higher self, and your own guides and angels. And, you know, your own, whatever your highest spiritual beliefs are. Okay, let's get your animal totem for Cancer. You got the fox. Yeah, that's another thing, Jupiter. That's another thing, Cancer. With that Jupiter in your sign, you're looking kind of foxy there. You got that attraction factor. You could really be attracting what you want, you know, some romantic attention, or just, you know, even if you're not wanting to, you know, looking for that way, but maybe just, you know, validation or something. But the other thing is, they're sly. And don't be blabbing stuff all over, and don't be talking about failures of the past. Talk about what you're creating for the future. Sly, sexy, charming shapeshifter. Elevated sense of smell, acute hearing, mediumship. Camouflage, retreat, insulate, survive. Keep to yourself until you know who to trust. That's what I was referring to. But here's the thing too, Cancer. You're really good at that. You are really good at that. You go in your shell, and you know, nobody can penetrate that shell. You'll be out in a couple days when the moon changes sign. You're not going to stay there. You know, usually don't stay there. But while you're in that shell, get in there, start manifesting, visualization, because I'm telling you, this is your season. Plus you've got Jupiter with you. Come on, use it up. Use that energy and you'll be amazed at what you can co-create. This is co-creating with your guides and angels, the universe. All right, let's get your Holy Hamza card. Holy Hamza! Cleanse. Yeah, it's a good time to cleanse, especially if you have these limiting beliefs or depression kind of situations. I'm turning it this way to get the good light and get it in focus. If you want to pause the video and look at some of the background words, sometimes that can bring in some insights to you, for the personal insights that would maybe, have relevancy to just you, where you could get a personal message out of this. This card, I'm just going through, it's card number 18, and I'm just looking for the booklet that I wrote, by the way. Clear, smudge, unburden. Yeah, unburden yourself. The cleanse card is calling for you to clear away the litter in your life on all levels, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. When we remove all extraneous toxins that have been polluting your environment, you are making space for new things to come into your life. Yeah, this is the time of year, your solar return time. There may be this may be a good time to do a thorough cleaning of your environment. The burning of sage or use of salt or even sound can further clear your field. These types of ceremonies may be more powerful when performed on the full moon or right after. Well, the full moon is on the 10th, and the sun will be in your sign. But these type of things are also powerful to do around the time of your solar return, because that, again, is your new year, not January 1st. This is your new year. This is when you're setting your intentions for the year. Here's the right ones. Okay, let's get our lots of love, which may or may not pertain to love. Let's see what we get here. I've got outgoing. So, yeah, maybe be a little outgoing. But I keep your plans to yourself. Keep them. Don't let the energy leak out. Just keep visualizing. Next, we have lots of answers, and it says likely. And then thirdly, we have the lots of Proverbs. And lots of Proverbs says, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Yeah, and that is a really good one. Maybe not your ideas. That's what I get from this. This is one of your cronies. My guys are calling him one of your cronies. They called him a hobo before, now they're calling him a crony. So if your cronies are going nowhere, and why you want to listen to them? They can't see these higher visions. And even if they can, they may not have belief in it, because your higher vision is going to differ from their higher vision or their higher soul mission, or the things that are lining up for you at this time through the universe. The universe is working with you. Your angels are working with you to put together these scenarios and these opportunities for you. So, be sly. You're going to be so sly and sexy, though. If you're looking for love, and you got it going on right now, Cancer, with the Jupiter energy, major people will be attracted to you, so that's going to be a thing. All right, well, happy birthday again to all you Cancers out there. And I'm going to roll up the cards. And if you want to get a hold of me for readings or different things that I offer, or join my Patreon, it's all, you can find it either below the video, the direct links, but also just go to my website and it's all there. Or the custom artwork. Last month people were asking about my custom artwork, and sure, it's there. It's on my website. It never went anywhere. Okay, next we're going to move on to the sign of Leo. All right, Leo, happy birthday to all you late July Leos. And even if you're not a late July Leo, if you're an August Leo or Leo rising or whatever, the new moon in Leo on the 24th is your personal new moon. You get one new moon, one full moon every year. So this is a very powerful time to create your intentions, set your new beginnings. This is going to be a reset for the whole entire year coming up, or at least until your Leo full moon, which is usually going to be like maybe in January or February. It's always going to be when we're in the sign, your opposite sign, which would be Aquarius. Oh, these cards flipped this way. This one flipped, so I'm going to take it. I'll take that, and then we'll cut two more. Got the Five of Cups, the Fool, and the Ace of Rods. Okay, well, Ace of Rods, that new beginning and fire energy, Leo moon, there you go. And that's your sign too. But let's get the top three, and we'll dive into the whole thing together here. Together, together, we're having a ball. All right, let's see what we got here. Oops. Seven of Cups again. It came out on the cut too. That was in the last reading. Queen of Pentacles. That could be the Capricorn full moon. And then the Four of Swords, resting. Yeah, some of you might be coming, especially like in the beginning part of the month, like maybe the first few weeks of the month. You may be feeling a little bit as that you need a little bit of a rest, a recuperation. maybe around the time of that Capricorn full moon. If you're feeling like a little bit more drained or tired, you know, honor that. Honor that. Allow yourself the rest and recuperation that you do need. And while you're in that mode of resting, instead of looking at past failures, because they're not, there's always some opportunity still there. Seven of Cups, you can create your new, you can be manifesting. So you don't always have to be doing. Sometimes it's just visualizing, communicating. And I feel like particularly around the beginning of the month, with the full moon in Capricorn, because also with all this Cancer energy, that's, if you're Leo rising especially, that's in your 12th house. So sometimes when stuff is in our 12th house, we do feel a little drained. We do feel a little dragged out, you know. Toe down to the flow down. I haven't heard that one in decades. But that's what they just came out through with. Wow. Yeah, so you may be, you know, that could be a thing. You might be feeling a little bit drained. But again, you don't have to necessarily push through it. I know there's certain things you have to do, but if you can take that time for that rest and reflection, then you're going to emerge so by the time we get to the new moon in your sign, plus planets are retrograde, all this stuff, you know, it could be dragging on you, really. But then we get over here to this new moon energy, new moon in Leo, Ace of Rods, new beginning, planting your seeds. That's what the new moon in your sign is all about every year. Because this is your annual reset. This is your personal new year. January 1st is just some random date. It has really nothing to do. Well, I mean, I guess it has something to do because it's in the collective consciousness so much here, right? You know, it's in the collective unconscious. So it's in the zeitgeist. So yeah, January 1st. But if you want to be successful, because how many people do New Year's resolutions and the next thing, a week later, they're right back to their old stuff. So if you want to be successful with your new beginnings, this is the time to do it, honestly. It really is. It's your actual new year. Even if it's a solar new year, so it's kind of more geared towards the Aries, Leo sun. But even if you're Leo rising, for sure, all these planets going over your ascendant, the new moon in your first house, for sure, that's a new cycle. And then the Fool is not foolish. Fool is just a reset. You got 0, 1. So he's getting over this. Some of you may have gotten over a bad relationship even. Some of you may have had your heart broken, but you will love again. Leos, you're all about the heart. You know, you always will love again. For others, I just feel like there's been this little bit of a lethargic feeling. And if you're in the northern hemisphere, man, this heat that we've been having is out of this. It's unreal. It's just too much. That's why I do have my little fan running in the background. I'm not sure how loud it is on it, but I need it. I mean, there's no way I could sit here all day. And I mean, I have the air conditioner on in the whole house. You know, it's fairly cool, but I just couldn't do it without a little bit of a breeze. It's just too much. So I apologize if you can hear that fan, but you know, that can really drag it all out of you too. You know, you just don't feel like eating. Nobody wants to eat any heavy meals. You just feel like, blah, you just want to, you know, lay around or whatever. Again, I want to say honor that, allow that. The other thing is now this Queen of Pentacles, I was pretty much putting it all towards that it has to do with the full moon, and I do believe it really does for many Leos. But it could also be an actual person who may be an earth sign, a Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, or maybe showing up there right around that time frame of the Capricorn full moon. All right, let's go ahead and move over and get that Aries. I keep wanting to say Aries, but we're going to do your animal totem. I do this, by the way, on the weekly, if you're interested, on Patreon. A little bit condensed version of this. Okay, you got the ant, so there. That's I feel like that's where you're coming from. I think like you've been working your ass off. That's what ant does. They just work, work, work. And now you need to take a minute. You need to take a minute. You need to commune with your spirit. You need to recharge your batteries, because as we move into your new moon, the sun moves into your sign on the 22nd, and then we have your new moon on the 24th. Then things are really going to pick up again. Fire energy, Leo energy. Okay, working tirelessly for the good of all, connecting with your community and knowing your place in it. You can move these mountains and make miracles happen. Yeah, that definitely could be the case for some people, but again, not if you're you know, burning the candle at both ends. First couple of weeks, if you're feeling a little tired, take a rest time, and then hit the ground running. As soon as we cross this threshold into Leo and your new moon and your birthday season, then you're going to hit that ground running like never before, my guides are saying. Okay, let's go ahead and grab our Holy Hamza card. Holy Hamza! Dragonfly. Dragonflies are so freaking magical, aren't they? I love them so much. One of my channel books, I talked a lot about the dragonfly and the energy surrounding it. I'm putting it where, hopefully where you can get it to, it's going to come into focus and you're going to be able to see it. Sometimes blocking out the background stuff. Yeah, there we go. If you want to pause the video and really dive into some of those background words, maybe you can get some insights through it. It's card number 22. And the main sentence here says, see them zipping to and fro, magical creatures in the sky. Fairies, healing, multidimensional. Multidimensionality is definitely a theme with the Uranus energy going into Leo. And by the way, I did a whole nother video on that if you want to check it out. The dragonfly has an otherworldly presence as it edges on this world and the next. From the borderlands of air, water, earth, the dragonfly brings knowledge and healing from higher dimensional beings. If the dragonfly has made an appearance in your life, you can be sure that magic is not far behind. Seeing a dragonfly may spark a soul memory of another time or another realm where actual dragons flew through the air and reigned supreme. Yeah. And the actual dragon energy is super powerful too. And that's like you coming into this solar return time. It's you stepping into your power. You claiming that power. So really, really wonderful. And, you know, dragonflies are kind of soft. Well, I mean, they do come in hordes, but they're not so much like this ant energy. Very different, right? You might want to ponder that since you've got 2 insects in this spread. You might want to look more into the animal totems of that. The difference between ant energy and dragonfly energy. Ants are workers, dragonflies are manifestors, right? Okay, let's get the lots of love, which may or may not pertain to love. Serious. Okay, well that's going to mean a lot of things. Maybe relationships getting serious. Maybe there was serious wounding down here in this, you know, 5 of Cups energy. Let's go ahead and get another lots of answers. Oh, this is, well, it's in the lots of answers bag, but it's the other one. It's the lots of proverb. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yeah, you've got to go for your unique individual thing that you find beautiful and you find inspiring. That's where the magic is going to happen here, okay? And then one more we're going to grab for this. Well, this was, hold on. I got to go back into the lots of answers. That one was in there, but we'll pull another one. It says soon. Yeah, soon. But don't push it. Don't push it. Don't push yourself. You know, be in a place of, be patient with yourself. Allow yourself a little respite. And then again, as we move into your season, then the party starts. You know you're going to be partying and having so much fun during your birthday season there, Leo. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you like this kind of thing, I do a weekly over on Patreon. If you do like this reading here, please do like, subscribe, drop me a comment. That's always helpful to the all-important algorithm. And I'll be back again soon with another reading. Have a great month. And then next, we're going to move on to the sign of Virgo. Hello, Virgos. Well, your Uranus is coming into your into Gemini, not your sign, but it'll be squaring a lot of your stuff. Again, I did a whole nother video on it. The other thing is Mercury going retrograde on the 18th. Now, Mercury, we think of Mercury often, and many we associate it with the sign of Gemini, sure. But also, Mercury is your ruler. That's often get overlooked. You know, we always think Mercury, Gemini, okay. Mercury is your ruler too. So this 18th, this Mercury retrograde, we're going to see how that may affect you. Definitely could be some maybe slowdowns. Always a good time to review older things, stuff like that. Let's get 3 cards here for our Virgo friends. We've got 10 of Cups. Beautiful for the first card out. Second card we have, ooh, a star. Somebody else had star with 10 of Cups in that same, like, Spirit's bringing in this love energy for you. And then the Death card. So some of you, it could be an actual person who's passed on in spirit. We'll dive in a little deeper as soon as I get the rest of the cards laid out. Let's get 3 more. Ooh, one flew over here. Here it is. The 8 of Cups. That moon behind there is really standing out to me on that 8 of Cups. Now let me cut for the next 2. Let's see what we get. 6 of Pentacles. That card keeps coming out, and in that spot, too. Isn't that wild? and then a 7 of Rods. Well, you know, I love that the 10 of Cups was the first card out for you. So there's potential for love, happiness, joy. 10 of Cups, one of the best cards in the entire deck, okay? Star being right by there, you're being led by spirits, angels, and guides to this. This is a wonderful energy. Because the Death card came up, and I said this in another reading too, it may be that somebody has passed on, but they want you to know that they're just very happy, that they're with their partner, or their grandmas, or whoever, you know, they're on the other side and they're real happy. You know, that don't cry for me, don't be down in the dumps. 8 of Cups is moving on for something that was a struggle. For some of you, you may be leaving a relationship, you may be leaving a job, but there's potential. Stars calling you. This could be also what I'm picking up for you. This could be your future self is calling out to you, my guides are saying. Your future self is calling out to you to bring this beautiful, it's almost like this stream is the same stream that's around here. Like this beautiful energy from star and spirit is flowing down into earth and flowing, you know, feeding you and your loved ones and your wonderful, beautiful energy and everything like that. Looks like there could be some big changes. Maybe it has to do with that Uranus. I mean, it is going to square some of your stuff. I advise go looking at that Uranus video. 6 of Pentacles, though, when moving on from this stressful situation, 6 of Pentacles, there could be some kind of financial gain. So again, some of you, it might be a job. Maybe you're just tired of this job, or maybe you were even let go from a job, but it was a struggle and a drag anyway. You're moving on to something else, maybe around this newer full moon. So the full moon is going to be on the 10th. That's a full moon in Capricorn, which is very much cohesive or, you know, positive to trine with your Virgo energy. And then we'll have that new moon in Leo on the 24th. So it could be either of those. But boy, you know, you're leaving, it's going to take some courage to leave something behind that you've been immersed in for a long time. Now sometimes this 8 can be, it might be 8 years, 8 months, 8, you know, it could be, the 8 could be the thing, the time frame, okay? But it's, you know, it's time to go. It's run its course. It's interesting because Uranus stays in a sign for 7 years. So it maybe even has to do with, you know, this whole 7, 8 year cycle of Uranus and Taurus. And then we got the 7 over here, you know, 7, 8 years. We actually have 6, 7, and 8 all in a row. All in this row, rather. You know, it could be something like that you've been struggling with for a while, and it's just like, okay, it's time to go. It's time for me to go. Ah, what is that? My freedom, oh dear, to ramble on. It's time to ramble on. Find the king and queen of all your dreams. Diddle-diddle-doo, diddle-diddle-doo. Mine's a tale that can't be told. My freedom I hold dear to. I always love that line. But anyways, let's go ahead and get your animal totem for Virgo. Turtle. Turtle is kind of things moving slow, but turtle is also earth sign. Turtle represents the earth signs, which you are one of. Could be that full moon in Capricorn again, too. Also, North America, where I live here, is Turtle Island with the Native American thing. So if you're actually taking a journey, it might be somewhere, if you don't live in the United States or North America, you might be traveling to North America. Gaia Pachamama, Great Mother, ancient remnant of a bygone era, knowledge of the ancestors, deliberate, slow, and steady movement. Yeah, the deliberate, slow, and steady movement, but this whole thing, ancient remnant of a bygone era, right away I thought of this. And then knowledge of the ancestors, right away I thought of that. Maybe somebody's on the other side. Maybe it's not even recent. Maybe they've been gone for a long time, but they definitely are shining through. They want you to know they're happy. They want you to know they're with the other family members. They are also guiding you. They've become your, and I want to say, you'll see that bird. You'll see that bird or hear that bird. This reminds me of a nightingale. I'm not sure if that's the bird. It was when my dad passed away, the morning he passed away. And he was sick for a while. You know, he was dying. We knew he was going to go, right? But the morning, I remember I didn't sleep. I was up really early in the morning, whatever, 5 or something. It was just when the sun was rising, and I heard this beautiful bird song. And I believe it was a nightingale, which is not a normal, that was before the Merlin app, right? I always have my trusty Merlin app on my phone where I listen get those bird signal downloads or whatever, song downloads. But it was just beautiful, and from what I could gather, however I looked it up, I thought it was a nightingale, and I knew that it was the sign that my dad had passed on, and he did. Okay, but let's not talk just about people passing on, because you have 10 of Cups here. There's some really happy stuff, and more money too. I know Virgo wants to hear that. But anyways, let's go ahead. This Uranus thing, people are going to have different strange abilities coming through. Maybe you're going to all of a sudden I had an intense dream about my mom last night, come to think of it. And it's always the same one, too. It's always like, we're in the bar, and a lot of times we're just in the bar and they're just stress dreams. I don't have beer in the cooler, and, I'm running up my ass and I can't keep up. But then other times, like this one, I'm like, wait, I closed the bar. I've had this kind of dichotomy, awareness lots of times, bordering on kind of a lucid dream, and I'm like, no, I closed the bar. What happened here? And then she always says, I opened it back up again. I hope my mom is not stuck there energetically still. I hope she's not earthbound there. Well, that's a whole nother story, because there was a thing too when she died. The night she died, I had a vision of her shaking her head, no, no. My dad and my brother were on either side of her, came to get her, and she was sitting in the bar and she was shaking her head no, like she didn't want to go. So I hope she's not earthbound there, but it's always that same scenario. I'm like, wait a minute, I closed the bar, and she goes, no, I got it and back and I reopened it. She always says that to me, and that was one of those dreams last night I had. But anyways, back to you. Let's get your Holy Hamza for Virgo. Holy Hamza! Medical, health. Well, you guys are so diligent about that stuff anyway. But when this card pops out, sometimes you do want to... This is the actual medical, it's health card. So I have other ones with herbal and different things. Pause the video if you want and look at some of the background words, because you could potentially get a personal message. And health card is number 20. It's opening to that page again. This is the second time that's happened today. That's so wild. Okay, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I mean, we don't have to tell Virgo that, right? You guys, that's your motto, right? Fitness, wellness, medicine. Yes. It's often been said, it's often been said that your wealth is in your health. In our modern day, our health often gets overlooked or put on the back burner. This card is a reminder to look after yourself. Check in on yourself. Are you getting enough rest, exercise? What about your diet? This may be a good time to schedule a checkup. In some cases, this card may indicate a career in the medical field, that's a Virgo thing, often. Many Virgos are healers. Whether as a health practitioner, pharmaceutical industry, or other health and fitness related vocations. Yeah. So maybe you always wanted to be, a fitness instructor or whatever, something like that. And you're just going to go ahead and do it, All right, let's get the lots of love, which may not or not pertain to love. Fun. So yeah, let yourself have a little fun. Go towards the fun. Go way out, because that's where the fun is. Way out. Way out. The way outs. All the way from bedrock, baby. Twitch, twitch. Shirley. Now, lately I've been saying Shirley might be, it's a yes, but it might be, maybe the spirit even is Shirley up here. There might be a Shirley involved. Okay, by the name of Shirley, okay. And last, it says, if you love something, set it free. That could be if somebody's hanging on. If they're hanging on just because you can't let go of them, definitely I would say that would be the message there. If you love something, set it free. Okay, so... Well, Virgo, it's a big month. There's big changes ahead, but Ten of Cups is there. Keep your eye on the ball with Ten of Cups. If you're not happy in a situation, sometimes, Virgos, you're another one. Because you're so dutiful, sometimes you'll stay when it's really not best for your best interest, So if you're tired of your job or you want something different, this might, with Uranus making this big change, a lot of people are going to be making big changes, freedom. It might be a good time to branch out and go in this other direction. And you could find, what you're seeking. The rainbow, what do they call that? The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, Virgos, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check your sun, rising, moon, or anything that pertains to your chart or if you're cross-watching, whatever the case. If you want to get a hold of me for a reading or anything else, you can head over to my website, vickieverlie.com. I do have custom art and stuff. If I talked about it at the beginning, if that does interest you, then go back and watch the first section of the tape. And next, or I would say tape, but it's not actually tape, it's a video. Next, we're going to move on to the sign of Libra. Hello, Libra. This is going to be your July of 2025 psychic tarot reading for Libra sun sign, Libra rising, and Libra moon, or anybody who has prominent placements in Libra, cross watchers, all things Libra. Here you are. Well, the Orion energy is changing sign. I did a whole video about it. That's going to be a biggie. Everybody's going to be affected by that, including you. If you want to learn more about that, that's happening on the 7th of the month. You can go over. There is another video that I did post about a week ago. Okay, we've got Ace of Pentacles for July. Ace of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, and then Justice. Okay. Next we have, for the bottom row, 3 cards for our Libra friends. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We could jam in Joe's garage. Alright, we got Knight of Swords, 5 of Rods, and Temperance. Okay. Well, some of you have been in a dispute. Looks like there's some kind of a dispute in the middle here. Both of these cards are indicating some sort of a dispute or a disagreement, and perhaps with the Knight of Swords could be you, actually. The Knight of Swords could be you, the Libra, but it could also be any other air sign person, a Libra, Aries, or Aquarius. The other thing is, often the Knight or King of Swords, the Swords people, they are often involved in legalities. It could be a lawyer, a judge, somebody along those lines. And we do have the Justice card over here. Some of you may have to take it in, take matters into your own hands. There may be a legal battle, but I like that the Justice card is here along with the Temperance too, because it just feels like things would go in your favor. Particularly if you are looking to be awarded some kind of a cash settlement, or you're trying to get somebody to pay for some kind of a money payment thing, something along those lines. Ace of Pentacles says, oh yeah, they're going to pay. They'll make them pay. I don't know what is on his head. I guess that's just his helmet. But the way I keep looking at it there, it looks like some kind of a pheasant or a bird. Doesn't it look like this is the top of the bird's head and it's some kind of a... It reminds me of some kind of a bird. So maybe that's something for somebody out there. If it's not an actual pheasant or bird, maybe it's in the name. Maybe it's somebody's name, or it's the name of the street, or just keep that in mind. It might be relevant to somebody. That's never looked like that to me before. So there's a situation that is not going to be resolved without outside intervention. Basically, that's what it looks like. Some of you, it could be your current job, like HR or something. For many, I feel like it's, or even small claims court. Maybe somebody owes you some money and they're not going to pay you back. For others, though, maybe if you've been looking and struggling and looking for a job, you can get that job, and maybe this is something just having to do with that. It could be maybe it's contract work. It could be maybe it's working with in a law office or with government or something like that, or any kind of job. Maybe even like a card title place where there's a lot of those kind of things going on. Titles, legalities, contracts. These type of things are part of the job. It could be because it feels very much like a breakthrough, and that breakthrough energy, that's very much associated with the Uranian energy. And as the Uranus goes through Gemini, it's going to be trining all your Libra stuff. This is going to be a real nice boost for many Libras. Where you felt heavy or weighed down, you could really feel a lot lighter, because that's kind of what this card represents, like feeling stuck, feeling there, and then all of a sudden, wow, it's breaking through. And there's definitely some new money that is blooming and about there. Absolutely some new money. Very positive vibes for a new job, or some kind of a contract work or something like that. Or maybe it's just, the contract is something beyond contract work, like, independent contractor. Maybe, back in the day, maybe you're going to be signing. But if you're going to be signing something like that, now Mercury's going retrograde on the 18th. So you may want to try to get it done before then if you can. Sometimes you just can't, you know, sometimes you just can't work around that. And, you know, and if it's a great opportunity and you consulted your attorney and they say it's a great opportunity, then go ahead and sign it. Okay, let's see here. You've got the beaver, so you're building something. This could be signing of a contract to build a house or something like that with the beaver energy. Builder, dreamer, familiar friend, dweller of land and water, afoot in two worlds. Your diligence can change the flow of the river. Be the architect of your own life. Yeah, maybe, or if you're having, you know, some kind of an addition put on your house or a remodel. For some people, maybe that bathroom has been bugging you for years and you're finally going to get that new bathroom or that new kitchen done at your house or something. Because often the beaver will be like that, because they're building their houses, they're building their dams and stuff like that. So for some it could be like that, but be the architect of your own life too. Don't be sitting there begging for somebody to change. If you have to take it to the next level, you have to take it to the next level, whether it's HR or attorney, small claims court. In some cases it may be to resolve some kind of a conflict like that. That could absolutely be a thing. All right, let's go ahead and get a Holy Hamza for our Libras. Holy Hamza! Fire! Watch me burn! Fire! Okay, let's see here. Get it in a good spot. The reason I'm doing this is if you want to pause the video and look at some of the background words, there's text in the background there. Maybe you can get a message that's meant just for you. Well, fire is fire energy for sure, and we are going to be moving into the fire sign of Libra. I mean, excuse me, Leo. You're Libra, but we're going to be moving into the fire sign of Leo on the 22nd, and then on the 24th we're going to have that new moon in Leo. So could be around that time or beyond, you know, towards the end of the month. Okay, the fire energy, the fire card, which is number 5. Yeah, it could be a fire sign person also, which would be somebody born under the sign of Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising. Now let's get read up on what I wrote about this initially. Spark, passion, and desire. Yeah, those are the 3 keywords. Maybe for some it could be a romance with this person. Turn that spark into a flame. Lighting the fire under your butt. Yeah, lighting a fire under your butt to get things going. Fire can cook our food, bring you warmth, and light the way to your deepest desires. Follow your passions when you see the fire card. This is there is an excitement and anticipation crackling in the air. Cast your hopes and dreams into the flame and allow the burnt ashes to carry them into the ethers of the world beyond. That would be something to maybe a good thing to do on the new moon in Leo. Write down your intentions and throw them in the fire. In astrology, the fire signs could be Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. This card may represent somebody born under those times, and as a timing card, it may represent when the planets are in that sign. Here's another mistake. I keep catching these mistakes. 5 fire. Says water sign. So I have to go make some corrections on the booklet. So while I'm reading from the booklet for you guys, I'm also proofreading it for myself. But in the last reading, I found quite a few mistakes too. I made note of them, but I haven't corrected them yet. So I'm just knee-deep in my other book and stuff right now. But okay, let's go ahead and get your lots of love, which may or may not pertain to love. We have action. On the action. Yeah, it's time to take action against whatever's going on here. Some of you, it could be a class action suit, because it almost, even though normally these guys are all fighting, it's like they're kind of standing around discussing. Doesn't it seem that way? Is it coming into view better? It's like, yeah, I don't like that guy either. That's some BS. Well, maybe we should form a union, or maybe we should, you know, talk to a lawyer or do a class action suit. For some of you, it could be like that. Okay, next says affirmative. Yes, that's a big yes. And then finally, the last card here we have is be careful what you wish for. Well, you know, that's always the case, I guess. But in this case, I would always, it doesn't feel like this would be anything you'd really be going alone no matter what. Temperance is here. The Knight of Swords is here. There's the group of people there. So whatever you're going after, you're not going to be working alone. You're going to be working in tandem with others, and as part of the team. You know, for somebody out there, this person doesn't have the power they think they have. You're going to be taking them down to Chinatown. They said, that's an old saying. I don't know if that's offensive in this day and age or not, but that's just what the guide said. I wasn't trying. That wasn't me. All right, let's go ahead and get these cards picked up, because next we're going to move on to Scorpio. Hey, Libra, if you want to get in on anything that I'm offering or find out more about my offerings, head over to my website. There is a ton of stuff that I do, not only just readings, but different things. Classes, I have artwork, I have all sorts of stuff. So check it out if you're interested. All right, next up we have our Scorpios. Well, Scorpios, I talked about the Uranus in the other, these are flipping all over, but I think these are just the cards. Oh, well, it's the Wheel of Fortune. It wasn't just the cards that came out before. I talked about, we do have another video with Uranus moving into Gemini if you want to learn more, but it's coming up here on the 7th of this month. And it is the big news of the month, honestly. I mean, also 18th, the Mercury retrograde, so there's that. But that Uranian energy is really powerful, and this is a big turning point for everybody. Again, I do have that other video where I dive in all the ways. You can check that out on my channel. I'll probably link to it at the end of this if I remember. And then we're going to pull 3 more cards from the Aquarian Tarot for Scorpio friends for a bottom row, for Scorpio sun, rising, moon, or anybody who has prominent Scorpio in their chart. Let's see what we have. 4 of rods, 7 of cups, and the Knight of Swords. He was in the last video, Knight of Swords. So you might be dealing with some air sign people, but it could also just be the Uranus moving into Gemini, which is an air sign as well. But there seems to be a progression here. The Page of Swords has grown into the Knight of Swords, and it's not really about any kind of gender thing, a male. It doesn't have to be a male, because the pages never were. The pages were always genderless, you know. It was just a young person. But making progress. And it could be somebody else that you're dealing with here. Maybe somebody else is making progress. But something is moving forward and making progress. And I liked how he looks over here at the 7 of Cups. He's like, he's dreaming. It's what you've been dreaming for, what you've been hoping for. And I feel like it's somebody who is very immature at some point. So it's somebody who is very immature at some point, but now they're really coming into their, you know, they've made the progress that you hope for them. On whatever level. If it's somebody, maybe it's a relationship and this was very annoying to you. It's just like, well, you're so juvenile, I can't put up with you. But maybe they're going to step up to the plate and be like, well, you know what, I want to be a better person. I want to behave like a grown-up. But for others, I feel like it might be somebody that you care about in more of a paternal way. Even if it's not your own child, you're just like, wow, they're really growing up. Look at the great person that they're turning into. You know, you're really happy with the way things are progressing. Now, Wheel of Fortune did flip out here at the very beginning, and Wheel of Fortune, it's fate and destiny, and it's divine timing. It's always a very favorable card. Death is here, but that just means a big change. So you're going to get news with air sign energy. Okay, let's look at that. So we know how the sun is going to be in Cancer, which is water sign, and then it's going to move into Leo, which is fire sign. So we don't have any air sign energy in the sun signs, but the Uranus moving into Gemini, that is very much air signs on steroids, okay? So it could be something around that 7th, after the 7th, on or around that 7th, that this news comes, and it's a big change, but it doesn't feel, death is a big change, it doesn't feel like a bad big change, no, not at all. The other thing I want to note about the death card, that's your card in the major arcana. Every astrology sign has a major arcana card that represents them, and yours is represented with the death card. So this is your card, this is your energy. You're not getting freaked out about this. So big changes, news are coming. Some of you, it could be a move for sure. 4 of rods, and with death, this could be we're moving to a new place, we're moving to a new office, maybe we're going to work from home, maybe we're going to make some big changes in our house. And Wheel of Fortune, everything's going to just fall into place to facilitate this change and this thing happening that we're wanting to happen. 7 of Cups, your dreams are becoming reality, and he's looking over here. They, whoever, this person is looking over here and is part of it. Now the Four of Rods, besides moving to a new home and everything, it's also one of the relationship and marriage cards here too. So as we move over here, this is getting better, this is improvement. Maybe this person is in love with you and you're in love with them and you're planning your nuptials. My guides are saying nuptials. This is grabbing me so much. This looks like a hand holding a microphone, doesn't it? On the top here. To me that looks like a hand holding a microphone. So is it singing? Somebody's a singer? Or is it even just you're going to give a speech? Or maybe it's even like karaoke or something like that. But I'm definitely looking like this, to me, is looking like a hand holding a microphone. And even his baton or whatever he's got over here almost looks like a microphone. This reminds me of the old-fashioned microphones. Remember Bob Barker on Price is Right? He always had that really long stick microphone. It reminds me. So there's something about a microphone. Could be news and announcements too. Maybe the microphone is just to let us know that there's going to be there's going to be a big announcement. That's going to be life-changing, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I'm not feeling like a bad thing at all. This looks like a wonderful reading for you. I mean, the Death card's there, but I mean, with the Wheel and the Four of Rods, it looks like things are finally turning around and changing in your favor. Saturn's going retrograde, Mercury's going retrograde, so there still could be some delays and things this month, but overall, I feel like you're finally getting over some kind of a big hump here. The raccoon wears the mask. That's your animal totem. Masked marauder in the night. Resourceful, curious, tactile, resilient. Ceremony, ritual. The shaman's journey. Paying meticulous attention to diet and hygiene. The thing that grabbed me the most on that is the shaman's journey. Because of the journey, you may be moving, but also a lot of times the shamanic work is like, I almost thought, I've got freaking, I was ready to smack the card, if you can see it. Because I got these dang spotted lanternflies everywhere. I've been going after them. They're the nymphs. They look just like that, except they have white dots on them. It's like, there's another one. My brain's so, kill it. But anyways, we were talking about, what did I say here? The shaman's journey, yeah. Because a lot of times the shaman's journey is this death and rebirth thing. A lot of these shamans will slow their breath down to almost the point of not breathing, So for some, or maybe some of you may go on some kind of like an ayahuasca retreat or, something deep like that. It could be something like that, and it could be life-changing. You may go on and you might meet somebody there. If you did, perhaps. Okay, let's go ahead and get your Holy Hamza. Holy Hamza! This is for Scorpio, Sun, Rising, Moon. Oh, harvest time. Yeah, Scorpio. That's what you like to hear. Everybody does, right? Try to get it to a place where you can really see the words on the background, and you can pause the tape if you want and look at some of these background words and see if anything really hits you, stands out for you, because that's the way, I just heard, that's the way, I like it, I'm getting a little hoarse here. But anyways, that's the way you can get that personal message, perhaps. The harvest is it's abundance. It's autumn time in the Northern Hemisphere sometimes, and it could be even around your birthday time, because that's in the Northern Hemisphere, Scorpio's in autumn season, so it could be something now, but then it's not going to really come to full fruition till then. But it's divine timing, and it's, it's autumn somewhere. It's autumn in the Southern Hemisphere, right? Do they really get an autumn, though? I think it stays pretty warm down there, doesn't it? Whatever. Not like we do. Not like winter where it's, below zero and feet of snow and everything. But, harvest. So harvest is a wonderful card. Let us feast in celebration of our bountifulness. Yeah. Things are looking up. You've got the beautiful partner here or even if it might be the microphone, maybe you finally found the singer for your band or your vocal coach or something like that too. Could be something along those lines. It might not be romantic, but it feels like there's a real love and good vibes with this person, and they're just as much into it as you are. They're very much been dreaming the same dream, and now the two of you are going to dream it together. The season of autumn brings about the harvest, when we reap the rewards of all our hard work. That which we have tended and nurtured has ripened and is ready to be enjoyed. A time to gather up our yield and make ready for the upcoming long rest of winter. The harvest card may refer to a time of reaping the rewards of your efforts, or perhaps a time of life when you can slow down and take stock of how far you've come on this earth's journey thus far. There's beauty in every season on the earth and every season of life. This may be the time of culmination, of reaching mastery, of burning your most brightly with the glorious colors of the autumn foliage. Yeah, that is really kind of your time of year. You know, that's the Scorpio thing. Yeah, it could. Maybe some of you are going to retire with that harvest thing. Maybe you're going to start collecting your pension or something. That could be too. All right, let's pull out the lots of love for which may or may not pertain to love. It says release. Yeah, well, Scorpio, that's death. You know, release, you're all about that. You know that. That's your jam all day long. Okay, next we'll have the lots of answers for Scorpio. It says, assumably, so that's a good one. Assumably, presumably, that's what I'm hearing. Assumably, presumably, innumerably. Okay, let's get one more for Scorpio. Lots of proverb. Jealousy is the green-eyed monster. Yeah, I mean, Scorpios can be jealous a little, but most times Scorpios aren't. You know, that's a part of your nature. That's the lower part of your nature. But you, with this wheel and everything up here, I feel like, you know, you're vibing on that higher nature. You're really going into that higher nature, and you're really ready to go up to that higher level on that soaring. And there's a wonderful vibes here. Your dreams are becoming a reality. It's all in divine timing. I feel like with this death card might really have something to do with that Uranus going into Gemini, like right there. Flip a switch, something big happens. Okay, well, hey, Scorps, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check all three rising, sun, rising, moon, or anything else that you resonate with as far as your chart goes, or for whoever you're watching for. If you're a cross-watcher, everybody's welcome here. Next, we're going to move over and do a reading for the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you're such a crazy pants. Yep. Saggies, you are the crazy pants of the zodiac. This card flipped out. We're going to take it. 8 of Cups. Journey onto the center of your mind. I'm hearing that song. I can't quite get it out of my head here. But let's look at this reading for Sagittarius here. So we've got a couple of court cards here. We've got the Page of Pentacles, which is normally an earth sign person. And then we've got the Queen of Swords, which is normally the air sign person. This roses on her thing is standing out to me. I had this major dream about my mom last night, a visitation. And there was something, she was showing me the roses blooming, not very similar to that too. But air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. Could be this whole Gemini thing. Now this Page of Pentacles, that's earth energy, but that could be an earth sign person, of course, a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. But it could be a full moon in Capricorn on the 10th. Could be some kind of a timing. You, like some of the other signs, you're ready, because Uranus wants freedom. That's the biggest thing about Uranus, right? So you've been in this long-term situation maybe the past 7 or 8 years while Uranus was in Taurus in the earth sign, right? And you've just decided now, like, I'm ready to go. There's obstacles in your way, but they're not insurmountable. There's a soulmate energy that is either on the other side of this or is with you right now that wants to help. It could be this Page of Pentacles. It could be this Queen of Swords. Now, there's no gender in this reading because it feels pretty strong romantic with this one, okay? And also that would be your 7th house. So, you know, it would be whoever you're interested in. If you're interested in men, it would be a man. If you're interested, if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. If you're interested in a woman, it would be a woman. So we don't necessarily have to say, well, I'm not interested in women, so that's not for me. Also, another reason that just occurred to me as I'm looking at this, look at how her sword, what is her sword pointing right up at? Bam, 2 of Cups, the soulmate card. I mean, it could be a friendship too. It could absolutely be a friendship or just somebody who's very supportive and a friend. But I feel for a lot it's going to be some kind of romance. I'm hearing that old song. I feel for you. I think I love you. Yeah. So it could be, you know, declarations of love, something like that. The other thing I didn't recognize this is the Chariot right off because it's a little bit of a different illustration. But this is the Chariot card. And when you get the Chariot with any of the journey cards, like the 8 of Cups, it's very often this could actually represent an actual journey. traveling somewhere, maybe traveling somewhere and you're going to meet somebody, or maybe the two of you are traveling together or something like that. I feel for some, this person comes along, there's this other, like if you have a child, or maybe they have a child, but it's all good. It doesn't feel like it's anything that's going to be a deal breaker. Even if you've said adamantly, I don't want to date anybody who has children, you might end up, you know, or maybe if it's just a friendship, maybe you both have kids and that's how you meet at some, you know, at the school function or whatever, a mom group or, you know, one of those kind of a deals, or event, you know, sporting event or whatever it might be for your kids, play dates, whatever. But this is going to be, you're going through this transitionary period. Some of you might be going through a divorce with Uranus going through the 7th. That can happen. Again, you maybe want to tune into that Uranus and Gemini video, because I talked a lot, I gave some examples and different things. I don't want to waste all of this video talking just about that. But yeah, you're definitely going to be working with people, a soulmate energy, long-term standing things that may have been like, I just can't, you can't get through it, you can't get past it. You know, you will. With the help of your friends, or maybe the pull of the soulmate, you might meet them and it's just like, hey, I'm going, I just got to go. Or maybe they live in another country and you may travel to be with them. There's a lot of different scenarios it could be. But I do feel like things are moving forward for you. Okay, let's go ahead and get a animal totem for our Sagittarius friends here. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you're such a crazy pants. Alright, let's see here. The rat. Ooh. Well, some of you have been dealing with a rat, you know. And you need to reach out to other people. Don't try to go it alone right now, Sagittarius. You're very freedom loving. A lot of times you'll just try to do it on your own. You don't want to. This is a time when you really need support, and there are people around to support and reach out for help with. Sneaking, slinking, hiding, stealing, fear, lack, hoarding, squalor, surviving in harsh environments. Yeah. Release what no longer serves you. Yeah, so it's time. The situation's not going to get any better. If you've been in this stifling or this terrible situation, it's just not going to get any better. And it's time to move on. You know, it's time to move forward to the next thing. All right, let's go ahead and get the Holy Hamza for Sagittarius. Holy Hamza. All right, Holy Hamza for Sagittarius. Unconditioned pets. Okay, so some of you it's a pet. Well, maybe somebody has a pet rat. I mean, there's a girl I know who has this pet rat. Every time I see, I get really triggered. I have to keep saying I don't want to. I always say, show me less of this post, and then I don't see any of her posts. So it's a tricky situation. And she's cool. I like her, but that's for me. That's not anything I want to mess around with. Hey, if you want to pause the video and look at this, okay? Look at the words in the background, dive in a little closer, because you might be able to find something there that really resonates with you. Maybe that's even how you meet this person, you know, at the dog park or whatever. Okay, pets is number 32. I'm going to read from the booklet that I wrote. This is a deck that I created on my own, and I wrote the booklet as well. So I'm not just reading from the book, quote unquote, I'm reading from the book that I wrote. Critter, familiar, fur baby. Unconditional love, loyal and true. Our animal companions can be tremendous comfort on our earth walk. Their capacity for unconditional love and support is unmatched by any in human form. For that reason and many others, they may be our greatest teachers as well as our friends. Indigenous people from all around the world look to the animal kingdoms for signs, omens, and messages. Many times our pets are in tune with the subtle energies beyond what can be sensed from the human perspective. Take time to appreciate all the creatures and animals of the animal kingdom. Whether domesticated or living in the wild, they have much to teach us. Yeah, well, pay attention to those animal totems and stuff, you know. That could be a thing. Maybe that's the deal breaker. Maybe you're like this person, they got pet rats, and you're just like, ugh. I think that would be a deal breaker for me. Sorry, it just would. No, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get the lots of love teacher. Yeah, again, maybe you're going to take a class and you're going to meet this person. Maybe you're going to teach the class. Maybe you're the teacher. Maybe this person in the relationship is, because all of our relationships are for us to learn and grow, and, you know, we learn from that. So it could be teaching on those levels. Okay, next. Agreed. Yes. So it's a yes. And then finally, the lots of proverbs for our Saggies. The early bird catches the worm. So there's another reference. We've got pets, we got rats, and we got birds. So there's all these animal references. Somebody else had quite a few animal. Oh, it was insects, I think. So you have all these animal references too. Maybe the zoo. Go to the zoo. Maybe go to the dog park. Maybe that's where you're going to be traveling with. It has something to do with, or maybe it's a safari or something even. Who knows? I mean, it could just be a lot of different things. But whatever the case, and you know, Sagittarius, you love to travel too. Usually I have Sag Moon. I'm not that great of a traveler. I don't. And the older I get, the less I want to go anywhere. But you know, but usually Sagittarius, they're ready to, you know, they're very much love traveling, and they'll go in a, you know, ready to pack up in a heartbeat and go. So maybe you will be doing some traveling, and maybe there'll be some kind of animal things around. Maybe you'll be going with a companion, but if you're single, maybe you're going to meet somebody. That's a distinct possibility. Uranus could be really unexpected meeting somebody, okay? All right, well, thanks for tuning in, and if you want to check out the Uranus in Gemini, like I said, there's a whole video on that. That's a big thing. That's really the defining energy of this month, I want to say, is that shift. But if you want to get a reading from me, or you like my art or astrology reports, different things, go ahead and check out my website. It's all there, and you know that you're dealing with me and not some imposter, some rogue imposter. And next we're going to move on to the sign of Capricorn. Well, Capricorn, on the 10th, we're going to have your full moon. You do get that one new moon and full moon each year, so this is your full moon. So this is the time of year where things are coming to culmination. This is the time of year where you may have some major revelations. This is the time of year when some things that maybe the seeds that you planted back at your solar return time, or back in Capricorn season, back in late December or January, might be coming to fruition at this time. So it's an important time frame. Let's take a look here. Oh, the other thing is Capricorn, by the way. Let's get your 3 cards. That's one of your representation: Queen of Pentacles and Justice and 6 of Rods. The other thing I want to mention to you, another thing that's really relevant for you, is on the 13th, Saturn goes retrograde. Now, why Saturn going retrograde is so important to you, perhaps, is because Saturn is your ruling planet. So a lot of times you'll feel those Saturn moves more than other people, okay? Let's get 3 more cards for Capricorn for July. Queen of Swords again. She was just out in the last reading. Lovers. Okay, I love this Lovers card too. And 3 of Cups. Wow. You've got a beautiful reading here, Capricorn. I think maybe one of the best I've seen all day. Let me just grab a really quick sip of cool water and we'll get into it. Top of the reading there, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. Now, that is a representation of you. That is the earth sign person, the Taurus, the Capricorn, or the Virgo. If not you, absolutely could be another earth sign person, one of those 3 signs. Could also, again, be pointing to that full moon in Capricorn if we use it as the timer, okay? But it's very favorable, and Justice is there with 6 of Rods. So you are going to get some sort of award, triumph, victory, personal victory, feeling great, feeling vindicated, I'm hearing. Justice, you may be signing a contract, you may be doing whatever you're doing. It puts you in the spotlight, it lifts you up and gives you that recognition. And Capricorns, you're our striver. You're climbing that mountain, you like recognition. That's, you know, Capricorn's very much like that. I had to drink water, but I also have to spritz myself. It's very hot and muggy. I mean, I have an air conditioner, but it's just not really cutting it in this horrible heat that we're having. So yeah, Justice and victory, big time victory. The Queen of Swords is here. Now this person is somebody that you're going to have a very strong emotional connection with. Again, there's no gender, so if you're not interested in women romantically, it wouldn't be a woman, etc., etc. You have to just disregard that. It's talking about air sign energy, so it might be an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. It might be talking about that Uranus and Gemini, you know, going into that sign there. Not your relationship house. You can watch the Uranus and Gemini video to figure out more about that. But I did it in one of the other videos, and this is catching my eye again. The sword is pointing up to the other sword. It almost feels like your paths are like this is a road or something, or this is a continuation. So you're going one way and then you turn the corner and you're going another way. But the other way is the true north, okay? But I said at this beginning of the video too about sideways Eddie and Uranus being a sideways planet too. So you maybe we were a little bit askew, but even this person could point you in the right direction. Now sometimes pointing at the justice, maybe this is somebody that is involved with law. A lot of times the air sign people, the swords people can be that. But it does look at this. You can't deny that there's a strong emotional connection. You have lovers and 3 of cups. Lovers, of course, usually means a romantic kind of love, but it can be just somebody that you really care for a great deal. Because I'll use the lovers just in the tarot. There's no card that just is love. Not really. Maybe Ace of Cups. That's in my deck. I have soulmate, I have romantic love, and I have lovers. And I have just love. I have a bunch of different... That's something that I felt was really missing in the tarot. And I included it in my deck. But I've always have used lovers as, you know, just love in general. It definitely can be. This is one of my favorite cards from this deck, too. It's just gorgeous, isn't it? The Aquarian Tarot. Love it. Anyways, and with the 3 of Cups, also another love card to some extent. The 3 of Cups is happiness, celebration. Sometimes this could be maybe somebody's getting married. Maybe they're going to make it legal, you know, and they're having a baby shower, wedding shower, the wedding itself. It's got the beautiful flowers blooming in the background. This card for me is always me and my 2 daughters, the 3 of us, since I've had them. It's the 3 of Cups is always the 3 of us together. And I would even say, you know, my daughters are air sign too. But even with the lovers and everything, so that's always good too. So karmatic justice perhaps for some. Maybe there's been some family things going on, and now, you know, this 3 of Cups, everything's beautiful, we're happy, we're celebrating. Maybe it's an engagement party. Maybe somebody, you know, you go to a party with an air sign friend and you meet this person unexpectedly. Air sign energy, there's all sorts of unexpected stuff going on with this whole Uranian thing. But no matter what, it could also be another thing that's coming to mind is this whole justice thing. Maybe if you are in a long-term relationship, maybe something great is happening for your partner, okay? And that way, and therefore you're happy too, you know? Maybe they got the great raise or promotion or job, and then we're all happy and celebrating all of us together. All right, let's go ahead and move over to the animal totem card for our Capricorn friends for the month of July. What do we got here? The cat. Cat energy is stealth huntress of the night, ancient intelligent, familiar of the goddess, waiting patiently for the time to act, being flexible with balance and grace. Yeah, so you've been waiting patiently, and something is about to pop for you here, Capricorn. And there's going to be lots of energy to celebrate. Somebody might be actually getting a cat, I feel. You might find a cat, or maybe this person that you're involved with or that you meet, maybe they have a cat, and you fall in love with the cat too, you know. And the 3 of you are a happy family too, like that, you know. And the cat makes 3, or baby makes 3, whatever the case. Okay, let's go here and get your Holy Hamza card for our Capricorn friends for the month of July. Holy Hamza! Ooh, you got the wish card. Look out. The hands down, Capricorn, you have the best reading this month by far, okay? I'm going to hold it up where hopefully you can make out it's coming through clearly. And if you want to pause the video and take a look at some of these background words, see if one grabs your attention, that's how you can get an actual personal message just for you. Okay, well, the wish card is just that. Your wish is coming true. It's number 9. I totally took that from the tarot too, because of course the 9 of Cups in the tarot is the wish card. So I did do that. There's a few number things like that throughout my deck. 9 of Cups, 9 of Swords, 9 of wish card, numerical lineups, different things. I try to. There's a few things I try to incorporate like that. Your wish is coming true, a time of great abundance. Dig that, right? Success, fruition, attainment. This card signifies a definite yes to your question when it shows up in the spread. Thank your lucky stars and count your blessings, which are many. You are on a roll and the gifts keep coming. Make a wish and trust the universe has got your back, for you are in alignment with divine synchronicity, success, fulfillment, happiness, and satisfaction. Wonderful things are unfolding in your life. Enjoy. Yeah, baby. Love that for Capricorn. And I'm one. I'm a Capricorn too, so I'll take that. I will definitely take this reading. That would be really lovely. Isn't it lovely? All right, let's get the lots of love, which may or may not protect to love, laughter. You know, with the Three of Cups, that can be a card of like joy and laughter too. Let me fill your heart with joy and laughter. All right, let's get the yes, no, maybe from the lots of answers. It says naturally, definitely. And then the third one is going to be lots of proverb for our Capricorn. We are what we repeatedly do. Yeah, well, that's true. You know, that's definitely true. These unconscious habits sometimes run our lives. Sometimes we need a little Uranian energy in there to shake things up so we can go in a different direction. I try to do that definitely in the morning. Like usually I'll get up. I don't even drink coffee in the morning. I drink a decaf coffee after dinner just to aid with digestion. But usually in the morning when I'm getting things ready and feeding the dog, and I usually dump the coffee from the day before and fill it up again. I've just been not doing that. Just little things, like these little automatic things, just to kind of put that glitch in the matrix, you know, put that little glitch in the matrix. You can just do things like that. If you always do things in a certain order, mix it up a little, change things up. But boy, wonderful, wonderful spread. Again, Capricorn, so far, I want to say you had the very best spread so far. Hey, if you want to get a hold of me for any reason, oh, there goes the wish card on the ground, I have to grab it. Head over to my website, or you can follow the direct links below this video. You know, we've got these imposters. I have readings, I have artwork, I have all kinds of fun stuff at my website. So all of that goes to supporting me and this channel. And of course, if you can't do any of that, if you still want to support the channel, you can always hit the like and subscribe. It's always highly appreciated. I've been steadily losing subscribers for like the past 5 years. You know, some people call it shadow banning. I'm not going to come on here and whine about that, but I do appreciate your subscription. And if you think you're subscribed, but you thought you were, but maybe you're not, they've been dumping people too randomly. So thank you all for your support. And next, we're going to move on to the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius. Well, hey, Aquarius. You know, Uranus is your ruling planet. So yeah, you are definitely, when Uranus makes a move, Aquariuses feel that energy. The other thing is it's going to be moving into a fellow air sign, which will be much more happy and much more conducive and harmonious with your energy, the air sign energy. First card out for our Aquarius friends is the Seven of Cups. Next we have the Star. Look at that, beautiful, beautiful. Third card, we have the Six of Cups. So being reunited with somebody from the past, or a situation from the past. I was going to reshuffle, but I already did. Let's do 3 cards for the bottom row. We've got 8 of Wands. Things are moving quickly. Oh yeah, they are. 2 of Cups, the soulmate card. And Ace of Rods. Hey, you're in the running. You're giving Capricorn a run for your money on the best reading this month, Aquarius. You got some beautiful cards too. Lovely, lovely, beautiful cards. Definitely a lot of love, emotional stuff going on. Even the 8 of Wands is often called, you know, the arrows of love hitting their mark, pointing straight directly at the soulmate card. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. There's a very strong soulmate energy. Perhaps somebody from the past. Perhaps somebody, Spirit is trying to guide. Spirit is trying to guide you. Spirit is trying to guide you and facilitate this for you. 7 of Cups, dreams are coming true. Visualization, creating the world that you want to be in, you know, visualizing, talking, communing with your spirit guides, communing with your angels, communing with your loved ones who are on the other side, and then you are, it's coming into manifestation. Ace of Rods. The Ace of Rods is we're starting to see things happening. It's the seeds planted are starting to bloom and grow. It's pointing right up at this 6 of Cups. For others, this could be, having some children too. If you're in a long-term relationship and you're trying to get pregnant, there could absolutely be children coming in, and this is this higher blessing too. Sometimes with the 6 of Cups, it could be 2 children. So it might be the second child, or maybe it's the second grandchild, or maybe it's twins. It could be a lot of different things. So the Eight of Wands is pointing at the soulmate energy. The soulmate energy lines up beautifully with the star. So this soulmate, it could just be the child coming in as the soulmate. You know, that's very often the case, you know, because you know that even though they incarnate into a body, when they, you know, children aren't, they're more attached to spirit than we are, you know, because they haven't lost that connection to their higher source or to heaven or whatever you want to call it. You know, they're still really much still connected in that way, and that's why people just, you know, love babies and everything. So the Eight of Wands to the Two of Cups, and then the Ace of Rods pointing up here. It's all going in a big circle. I want to say that there is this circle of life kind of a thing here. Maybe for some, because I'm getting that this is somebody's person that's passed on, like your grandma, mom, whoever. They might be reincarnating either into your family, or even if they're not reincarnating into your family, they might be reincarnating to, but you will meet them, you'll know them. Maybe they're going to be the neighbor kid, or who knows what. You know, somehow they're coming back into your life, this other soul. Even for some, you've probably, it could be that, but others too, it's just somebody that you've known, a big presence, I'm hearing. A big presence that's coming, that you knew on the other side, and they're going to be making their appearance in the physical world. Whether they're already born, or are they coming through, you know, to be born, or maybe they're already born, but you're about to make that connection. You know, with Uranus moving into Gemini, after all, Gemini is the sign of partnerships, okay? So Uranus, your ruling planet, making its first time in 80-something years transit into the house of partnership, and look what Aquarius gets for your cards. Beautiful, wonderful, wonderful. Lover, friend, child, grandchild, whatever the case, it's just magnificent. I mean, I think you're in close running with the Capricorn for the best reading of the month. Okay, let's go ahead and get an animal totem for our Aquariuses for this upcoming July. We got the frog. Major leaps, changes, but also big transformation. They're the alchemists because they start as a newt, the tadpole. They go through these various stages. Almost this circle of life thing again that I was picking up earlier. Okay, rainmaker, alchemist, clairaudient, fertility, transformation, metamorphosis, safe passage into the netherworld. The final stages of growth, you have arrived. Yeah, this could really be you arriving just at some, you know, pinnacle of happiness, joy, love. I mean, these are the kind of cards that are really showing up here. I mean, just so beautiful for you. I'm so happy for you, Aquarius. I'm noticing too, we got 6, 7, 8, you know, going in order, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, let's go ahead. It might be 6th, 7th, 8th grade too. For some people that you knew this person from the past might come back to your life. Junior high, right? Well, when I went to school, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade was junior high, but I think now it's 6th, 7th, and 8th. Anyways, let's jump over and get your Holy Hamza. Holy Hamza! Let's grab that Holy Hamza for Aquarius. Justice. Well, take a look at it. If you want to pause the tape, the video, check out some of the words in the background and see if any really grab you, because that's how you can really get that personal message. But justice is, you know, this is very much the same pretty much as the justice in the tarot. Justice will be done in this world or the next. So it does have to do with legal justice things. It's card 23. I'm going to pull it up on my phone. But it also does have to do with karmatic justice. Very strong energy with karmatic justice with the justice card. Legal, government, karmic cycles. Karmic cycles, again. The Justice card has a strong tie to the legal system. Perhaps there's a legal matter pending or coming to a conclusion at this time. This could be anything from a court case, signing of a contract, paying a parking ticket, to jury duty. In some cases, this can be referring to someone who works in the legal field or may be working towards that. Possibilities include a cop, lawyer, judge, bailiff, or even someone involved in government. Still, another meaning can have to do with karmatic justice. In other words, what goes around comes around. If you feel you've been wronged by someone, know that they will get what's coming to them through divine retribution. But boy, what a lovely, lovely spread you have there, Aquarius. As far as for love, there's a sense of innocence to this too. That's why it could be a child, or maybe it is your childhood sweetheart, you know, coming back, like for some people. there's this, you know, maybe you even went and played with frogs in the creek or something, you know, maybe that's a memory. Let's see here. I have a memory of a frog, but I'm not going to remember. I'm not going to share it. Frigid. I don't know what that means. Well, I know what it means. It means somebody who's like cold, or a lot of times it's applied to sexuality, somebody who doesn't want to have sex, but that's certainly not the case here. Very warm and engaging. Okay, another one where there's the wrong thing in here, but it's life is what you make it, for the lots of proverb. So we'll pull another for the lots of answers here. Let's see. Cloudy, so uncertain. Well, this certainly isn't uncertain. This is certain. This is wonderful energy. I love it. I love it for you, Aquarius. You know, also with Pluto in your sign too, you may have really gone through some big transformations here lately, and now you're starting to maybe see the silver lining, or the light at the end of the tunnel, or what it was leading to, that cleared away all the gunk so that this beautiful new thing could really come forth and come through. Looks wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to get these cards out of the way so we can move on to our last sign of Pisces, but I wish you the best month. Aquarius, if you want to head over to my website for readings, for artwork, for all sorts of things, astrology reports, or if not, you know, just drop a comment or hit that like and subscribe down here. That really helps me out and is appreciated. Okay. Last but not least is our wonderful Pisces. We're going to take a look at the cards for you, Pisces. You know, this Uranus going into Aquarius, it's a thing, you know. It's going to square some of your stuff, but, you know, Saturn is moved into Aries, and it's going to be moving retrograde back into your sign. I think that's kind of the bigger news for some of our Pisces, but do not, like I said, do not despair. I got too many decks of them going on over here. I had that old deck that I brought in, and then I have this deck. You know, do not despair, because did I put the wrong cards on the wrong thing? No, they're the same size. They're the same height. Okay, that one looked bigger for some reason. I think it's just newer. This one's more used and broken in. Okay, let's shuffle these cards and get to cutting for our Pisces friends for the month of July 2025. Pisces Sun, Rising Moon. We got our King of Pentacles. Next we have the Five of Cups. And next, finally, we have the Hangman. Okay. Hangman. Hangman. Alright, let's see here. 3 more cards for Pisces for our bottom row. We have Ace of Rods again, followed by Queen of Pentacles. We got 2 Pentacle people showing up, and 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so maybe more focusing on the finances this month, perhaps for some of you. Pentacle people are about the money. They're about the money, they're about your job, they're about the career, and you've got the Queen and the King. Notice how they both are connecting up with this Ace of Rods. She looks right at it, and she's right next to it, and if we follow the Ace of Rods up, he's also right there with it too, 1 card away. So new beginnings and money for sure. But what's interesting is this Earth energy could be the full moon in Capricorn also on the 10th. Now, typically we don't want to start new things on the full moon, but you know, maybe that might be a time, or maybe these are seeds that you've already planted, and you're going to start to see them come to fruition, or see them start to bloom over here around the 10th of this Capricorn full moon. I do feel like that could be an important day for many I almost called you Capricorn, for many Pisces. The other thing is, you know, we're going to go Mercury retrograde here. Saturn's going to be retrograding back to your sign, and Mercury retrograde. So if you do want to start something new, you might, you know, it's probably better to start, even if it's not the new moon, you want to start it before Mercury turns retrograde. But finances are going to be picking up, and I like this, that you're going to get this money here. This goose is standing out to me, and I want to say you've hit on the goose that lays the golden egg. So you've hit on some kind of an idea. Maybe because Saturn kind of forced you in. It might have been this time frame where Saturn was really kind of rough, or you know, there was a lot of energy around struggle and everything. It forced you to take some different views and try some different things. Because I'm looking at this Hangman too. It feels like this could be something that maybe came to you even in meditation, or something that you've been thinking on or pondering about for a long time. Maybe all the way back to Taurus season, our last Earth sign season, which would have been Taurus season in May. Maybe you've even started this in May, and now you're really starting to see it bloom out in July. But this you didn't arrive here out of thin air. There's been preparation and work with the earth signs. There's been pondering and thinking. This could be something maybe that this card talks about something that you tried in the past. It didn't really pan out, but now there's full cups left. So even though it didn't pan out in the past, and that's 3 months, maybe 3 months ago. So May, June, July, August. Okay, so it might have been even in April. Could have been in late April Taurus time. May, June, July. That would be 3 months, right? But it doesn't have to be necessarily 3 months, but I'm definitely picking that up for some people. But something that didn't work out in the past, waiting around for the timing is right, or waiting for it to bloom, and there was still always full cups left. There was always still hope. There was always this, it wasn't a wash, but maybe that, you might have thought of it that way for a while. Maybe you were only looking at the spilled cups and not seeing the full cups. So there's going to be this new enlightenment, and people are going to come to your aid. Even this guy, they're all, or girl, whoever this person is, they're all coming towards this Ace of Rods to be a part of it. They all want to be a part of it. They're all going to contribute. This doesn't seem like anything that you're going to do on your own. They're all coming forward. They're all starting to contribute to this project, to this whatever the seeds that you're planning for. Maybe it's an actual garden. Maybe it's, it could be a lot of different things for a lot of different people. But you're starting to see your plans and ideas flourish. So that's always a good thing. Okay, let's jump over and get the animal totem for Pisces, Sun, Rising, Moon, for the month of July of 2025. For our Pisces friends. The wasp. I just had to kill a wasp today. I mean, I try not to, but it was a big ass one. I mean, this thing was probably about, not as thick as my thumb, but at least as long as my thumb. It was big. And it was trying to get out, but I'm not going to take the chance of getting stung by that monster, so I did spray it and kill it. And, I usually don't. I even have little nets and stuff. They always go to the bathroom and try to get out because I have this big glass black window in my bathroom. And I even have in there several different, they're for fish tanks or not really butter, but I think they're for fish tanks. But I'll try to scoop them in there and get them out. And I was just like, I was so hot and frustrated, and I just said, it's bug spray time, baby. Sorry, dude. You're going down. Okay? I'm not taking the chance. The thing was giant. Okay, fearless warrior spirit of the sky. Shamanic healing, transformation. Stinging, tacking, fighting the good fight. Impassioned action makes dreams come true. Yeah, so maybe if you've been kind of laying low, you want to jump into that impassioned action. That's going to be the ticket at this time. While Saturn has also, I really want to tell you about before Saturn goes back into your sign, which I'm not exactly sure when that is going to be. I know it's retrograding, so it's still at 2 degrees of Aries, so it's going to retrograde back in. Or do I have that information already written down back here? I do. It's actually in September. It'll retrograde back into your sign. And then it's going to be out. It's going to go forward and get out of there for 30 years. But between now and September, let's make things happen while you still don't have the burdensome energy of this heavy energy that can be Saturn, Okay, let's go ahead and get our Holy Hamza for Pisces. Holy Hamza! Sorrow. Yeah, so you've been through... Well, Pisces, you feel things so deeply anyway. And there's sorrow showing here and sorrow showing here. You feel so deeply. You're so empathic. You're so, you have that deep empathic kind of vibes and feelings here. So sorrow. Upon us all, a little rain must fall. I took that from Robert Plant. Check the background words. Pause the video if you want to look in there and see if you can find that word that really gets you or resonates you. That's number 17. Let me see here. I'm going to go through this booklet that I actually wrote the booklet and did the artwork. So I'm not just reading from a book. I'm reading back my own stuff here. 17. Tears, regret, sadness. Life is not all peaches and creams. There are times when we feel sorrow. This is the earthly dilemma, the dual nature of existence. Without lows, we would not appreciate the highs. Know that this is only a temporary state of being, and the sun will shine again. The actual shedding of tears can be a cathartic experience. Allow for the release and purge yourself of any heavy burdens that may be plaguing you at this time. Always remember that this too shall pass. Yeah, I feel like this too is already passing. And you're like, this wasp energy is, well, maybe with the wasp you might have got stung. You know, you might have got stung. But you can also use that wasp energy to, you know, with that powerful warrior spirit of the sky energy. You know, they're badasses, right? You're the badass now. Who's the badass? Pisces the badass. Alright, Pisces, let's get you lots of love, which may or may not turn to, apply to love. Hate, I'm saying turn to hate. Yes, something turn to hate. I'm hearing that song. Oh, it's a bitter line between love and hate. It's a thin line between love and hate, a bitter line between love and hate. I think that's the Pretenders. But it's a remake of another older, it's like a Motown song possibly. It's a cool tune. But yeah, so maybe you've been through some really dark times here, but you're coming out of it, okay? This tells us you're coming out of it, possibly. And people are there to help, too. If this is all more about an emotional situation, these people are rock solid. Rocks of the salt of the earth, rock solid. Rock solid. Okay, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Yeah, I mean, maybe some of these people, if there's somebody burned you or whatever, maybe they're really realizing now that, hey, Pisces, you know, I really did Pisces wrong. I mean, I wouldn't count on an apology, but they might be regretting their actions at the very least. But that doesn't mean you go running back to them for more, okay? You know, that's not necessarily, that's for sure not what you want to do, you know. You've had your healing time. There's going to be new beginnings with new people that are solid, supportive, believe in you. You can do things together. It's going to be a different scenario than what you've been through. Okay, Pisces? Hey, well, have a great month of July, Pisces. If you want to get a reading from me or you like my artwork, all that stuff's on my website. Otherwise, you know, please do hit that like and subscribe. Like I've told one of the other signs, I've been losing subscribers for some years now. I've been steadily going down, down, down. I'm going down, 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 down. So even if you think you're subscribed, sometimes they knock people off and don't tell them and stuff. It's this whole thing. Check it out. Hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing. Hit that like button so that my videos get out there to more people. Have a great month, everybody, and Pisces especially. Keep your chin up, Pisces. I'll be back again soon with another reading. Happy July, everyone. Till next time.